survives. A team works. Not just when things are going good, but even when, maybe especially when things are going really, really bad. That's where a team shines. Most people believe most people can't be trusted. That's a snapshot of our culture. Cynical, skeptical, suspicious, distrusting. And so when you do business in that kind of a culture, it's no surprise that trust is a challenge in that workplace. I'm going to give you a definition of team, a very simple definition that you can use as a lens to evaluate every team you're a part of instantly. A team rises up when there's a clear and compelling challenge. That's what makes a team. If you get a group of people together and throw in the middle of them a challenge that is clear, they know what they're supposed to do, and it's compelling, it's significant enough that they know if they achieve it, it will be satisfying, that's when a team forms. Once that happens to you, you are addicted to team. You see life differently. They might take the bait, they might not. Probably will. Most of us like to talk about our successes regardless of how we're wired. But whether they do or they don't, you have adapted to them, you've dealt with them in a way that fits their wiring, and you have built trust. And while you're the one in these cases doing the adapting, doing the sacrificing, doing the serving, here's the truth. At that moment, you're the one doing the leading. And you're being a catalyst for trust. Recognizing that my way isn't the right way, it's one way. And they have another way, and I can work with them. Now, before you go back to your seat, I want you to identify someone in another quadrant, and on the way to the seat, I want you to shake their hand and say, I'm committed to working with you despite your quirks. Okay? And maybe you'll need to say, I'm committed to working with you despite your many quirks. But do that, and then find your seat, and then we'll wrap this up. Back to your seats. Well, to begin, let's ask the obvious question. What exactly is a team? There's a lot of talk about team, a lot of writing about team, and a lot of groups of people that are called teams that don't actually function as a team. Now, I'm guessing that everybody here understands the concept of team on some basic or moderate level. You're here as a team. And many of you are hoping that somehow through this weekend the team will coalesce just a little bit more, become a little bit more effective, a little bit more efficient, and begin to rise to its optimum level in some way. A team is a diverse group of people, all these specialties, united by trust and united by a challenge that calls for their best. There's something you do better than anybody else on your team. It might be a way of approaching a problem. It might be a very specific technical skill you have. It might be a way of relating to people. But there's something you probably do better than anybody else on your team. What is it? That's the gift you bring to the team. And the gift the team brings to you is the opportunity to pool that specialty with other people to accomplish something bigger than you. One of the most satisfying jobs I ever had was cutting survey lines in northern Manitoba for geophysics. And the way it worked was this. They load a bunch of us up onto a plane, throw in a snowmobile and some lumber and a tent and some groceries, and fly us out on skis to the middle of nowhere, drop us off on a lake, dump out the gear, dump us off, and fly away. At that moment, we had to become a team to survive. One of my biggest discoveries about teams as I studied teams is that a team is not formed when you bring a group of people together and call them a team. That doesn't make them a team. A team isn't formed when you bring a group of people together and put them through some kind of team-building activities, though that can help in the right circumstances. There's a truth in that story and a truth in that statement that is bigger than that asylum all those years ago. Because honestly, as a speaker, it seems to accurately describe a lot of corporations I've dealt with, describes a lot of associations, and if you follow the news in some playoff seasons, it represents a lot of sports teams. Lots of skill, but no unity. Most teams, when there are issues, when there are challenges, The core of the problem, beneath the surface, behind everything else, is the issue of trust. The primary dysfunction of most teams is an absence of trust. If you don't have trust, you don't have a team. A team absolutely requires trust. Now, whether you call it character or honesty or integrity, we all know that that is the core of trust. That's the foundation. If we trust a person's character, we have some basis then for trusting them. And here's the character test. Because there's been a breach of trust. And the truth is that once trust is broken, once it's severely damaged, it takes a lot of work to rebuild it to the place where you actually can trust the person fully again. And that's why trust is a challenge in a workplace. The temptation many times in corporate settings is this. If trust is an issue, distrust is an issue, some people tend to think, well, if I'm not in management, if I'm not the boss, there's really nothing I can do about it, or it's actually not my job. And both of those thoughts would be inaccurate. Let's remember to draw upon the vast potential, the incredible power of a team. Thanks.